Whenever you received a rating from one of those individuals on the VA side and they screwed up the Nexus statement, what action did you take?
We send it right back. You have to send it right back because we need medical clarification. Right.
And then one thing that I also look for, if I knew I could use it, because I didn't like routine future exams. I wanted that doctor to tell me the condition is guarded or it's permanent in nature.
We want to always make it concise, to the point, but also not vague enough where we can skip right over it.
I went to 4, 2 of them were horrible, and those 2 individuals lied. And I was like, when those DBQs came out, I said, I'm never going back to another CMP exam. I'm just going to have to fight tooth and nail because you don't know what type of examiner you're going to get. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Dwayne. I got a video for that Kimball, United States Army veteran, retired VA rating specialist, and your VA claim nugget man. Today, I'm joined again by Mr. Davis. How you doing, Mr. Davis?
Doing well. Ready to educate and really excited about today.
Oh, yeah. We got a lot to unpack today. People, we are going to be talking about Nexus letters. What is some information that goes in them? When you only send a Nexus letter and a DBQ is needed, what does a rater have at their disposal? And when a VA CMP examiner or VA third-party contractor screws up a Nexus, what is the rater supposed to do? But before we get into today's video, Mr. Davis, can you go ahead and let everybody know a little bit about your background, your military background, your VA background, and bring everybody up to speed?
Yes. My name is Kenneth Davis, CEO of Veterans for Veterans, organization that serves veterans and helps them obviously get the benefits that they deserve. I am a Operation Iraqi Freedom and Enduring Freedom veteran with multiple deployments under my belt and served on a great USS Ronald Reagan, the double R as we call it. And also again here, obviously rating background is rated all across the country. At different VA regional office, all the way to Washington, D.C., from San Diego, California, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and the list goes on. So really happy here to be with you today.
Hey, I definitely appreciate it. And can you let everybody know the name of your YouTube channel so they can go over and subscribe?
Yes, sir. You guys can always again subscribe to Prepare to Compete, where you're going to be able to receive all benefits, news, and updates and information. To include any type of, real estate information, business information, as well as we're here to make sure that we're educating the community in all forms of their benefits.
How many regional offices did you actually rate at?
So I actually rated at 4 regional offices. So just a litany of experiences and a litany of QRT and a litany of examiners that we could talk about their actual Nexus letters.
Yeah, because we were just talking before we started recording about how veterans, they see us on YouTube, they say, hey man, you rate it. And we were talking about how stressful rating is. And I don't think a lot of people truly understand how stressful that position is.
Yeah, true indeed. I mean, it's a position that I'll tell you, it's not for the weak, right?
Yeah.
Again, you're constantly on production, but not beyond being on production. You really want to make sure that you do a good job, because each and every claim is attached to a veteran who possibly, and obviously they are submitting the claim for a reason. So they need this, and we want to be able to support them the best way we can, which I always led with grant first, deny last.
Yep, I agree. So let's go ahead and get into today's topic, these Nexus letters. Let's first discuss what is some information that that goes into a Nexus letter, because a lot of veterans, they'll say, Dwayne, can you review my Nexus letter? I'm like, nope. But out of curiosity, how long is it? And they're like 29 pages. I'm like, what? 29 pages. So when you rate it, and I'll answer the question right after you, but when you rate it, what were some of the things that you would see going to a Nexus letter?
Wow, there's so many different things that kind of outline in the Nexus letter. One that stands out the most in the Nexus letter that I always, personally made sure I identified, that was very, very pertinent was a records review,
Yeah.
right? That is kind of a very big one that a lot of examiners, I think, miss. Because we may have present day information in regards to the injury, and we can relate it to service based upon testimony. And testimony is evidentiary fact, and holds a heavy probative weight. However, if no records were reviewed, is it going to get service connected?
Correct.
Probably not.
Yeah. Yeah. What I look for is, and people were like, man, that's overkill. And I'm like, but if you look at a Nexus statement from the VA, it's the same thing. The date, veteran's
Mhm.
name. Then you get into the examiner's criteria, their background, if they're like, or a specialist, how long they've been treating you, what evidence was reviewed.
Yeah.
Then you get into the medical opinion. Then you get into the rationale, and then
Mhm.
all the doctors' contact information. I tell people, just look at the contact information at the bottom of the DBQ and put the same thing at the bottom of the Nexus statement. But I really paid attention to that rationale,
Yeah.
medical studies. And then one thing that I also look for, if I knew I could use it, because I didn't like routine future exams. I wanted that doctor to tell me the condition is guarded or it's permanent in nature. So now I don't have to do I know I can go ahead and grant P&T if the veteran's at that level and send them off into the sunset. So yeah, I think, there's a lot of information that can go into a Nexus statement, but veterans, and you let me know if you agree with this. Um, do you think 29 pages is too much for a Nexus statement?
Well, you know what? It depends, right? Because I could say, you may it be 29 pages and you have 100 conditions.
Yeah, yeah,
If 29 pages, you have
yeah.
100 conditions, great. But let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, veterans. A lot of times, those raters are not going through all those 29 pages. It
No,
is something that uh, it's just too much. It's
yep,
just too much, right? We want to always make it concise, to the point, but also not vague enough where we can skip right over it.
right,
As Mr. Kimball said, we want to have the evidence, right? We want to have the evidence review. We want to have the rationale. We want to have the degree and the specialty of the physician, address, phone numbers, different things of that nature is going to be able to position you to get a successful Nexus letter pass, and also that opinion to really be considered.
correct. And that moves us into um, the next topic as it pertains to Nexus statements. A lot of veterans think, or they'll tell me, Dwayne, I claim this condition, I claim back condition due to service, or back condition secondary to my bilateral service connected knee conditions. And I submitted an IMO or a Nexus, and I know it was sufficient. I'm like, okay, I'll take your word. And then I'll ask them, they say, well, I got scheduled for a CMP exam. So I was like, where's the DBQ? I didn't have one.
Mm.
So the range of motion is not in the Nexus statement, it's in the DBQ. So what did you used to do when you rated when a claim landed on your desk and it was, let's just say the Nexus statement was sufficient? How did you proceed with that particular claim?
Oh well, if the Nexus letter was sufficient, great, awesome. This is fantastic. But as you said, where are the physical symptoms in a disability questionnaire? If you don't have a DBQ, it is not. You're going to get scheduled for an exam, and
Correct.
that's just point blank. Period. However, I have seen that a lot of times, though a DBQ is, could be missing, there was, gray area nuances that
Mhm.
we could be able to rate based upon medical records, right? Because a lot of times, some of those veterans won't show up to those CMP examiners. I mean, to the CMP exams. I don't suggest that.
Right.
Okay, that's not my suggestion. No, I am just simply saying there are occasions that this happens. That this happens.
Mhm. I know when I was going through my claim and I was rating before DBQs were implemented, and you had to go to VA CMP exam. It wasn't even third party contractors. I went to four, two of them were horrible, and those two individuals lied. And I was like, when those DBQs came out, I said, I'm never going back to another CMP exam. I'm
Mm,
just gonna have to fight tooth and nail because you don't know what type of examiner you're gonna get. And I'm like, I'm
mhm,
looking at these DBQs, and now I have to fight these lies that they said in an appeal. So in my mind, I'm like, I'm not gonna give you all the capability to lie again. I'm just be honest.
mhm,
Just be honest. But whenever I received a sufficient nexus statement, I still would request the exam. But one thing that the quality team told me, if the nexus is sufficient, request the exam, but don't request a medical opinion. You already got it. You just
mm,
need the residuals to know, okay, am I going to grant 0%, 10%, 20, 30, 40? And I think a lot of times, and we talked about this earlier before we start recording, each regional office, I think, is a little bit different as it pertains to the way they train their raters, because you may go to another regional office and like you said earlier, they may be doing things a little bit different. You're like, wait a minute, over here we wasn't doing that. I wasn't getting any quality errors for that. So I think that plays a role in it too. But that's one of the uh, tools I had in my arsenal. I was like, okay, I'll just request the exam and won't request a nexus. But that didn't happen often. Trust me, that that did not happen often, but it did happen. But moving right along, there's VA CMP examiners and VA third party contract examiners. Whenever you received a rating from one of those individuals on the VA side and they screwed up the nexus statement, what action did you take?
we send it right back. We have to send it
Okay.
right back. Because we need medical clarification,
Right.
right? When we talk about, and I want to clear this up for veterans. I think veterans may have this confused because a lot of times what they think is that a lot of times the examiners are in cahoots with the raters, and the raters are in cahoots with the examiners,
Yeah.
and it's just not true. It's rare communication that follows through, right?
Mhm.
So with that being said, the only communication that we are sending over is any type of clarification factors that is needed in any type of DBQ or actual or rationale for a nexus. And it is very important that they provide that information because that can actually, a raider can lose their job
Oh
if they
yeah.
don't have that information. I know
Mhm.
everyone thinks the government is the most secure place in the world. Well, there's an agency called the Department of Veterans Affairs that is not so much.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, again, we have to send it off for medical clarification to
Okay.
be able to, really unpack and see what's going on there.
Yeah. I sent a lot back. I sent a lot back. And when I started rating, what I would do, I would look at the 526 really quick, see what the vet claim, boom, boom, boom. Yep. What type of medical opinion is needed. And I go right to that CMP exam because I wouldn't want to go through looking at all that evidence and then thinking, yes, I can rate this case in either the DBQ or the Nexus statement from the CMP office is screwed up. So I would just take a quick look at the 526CZ. Yep, I see what they're claiming. Increase, boom. Let me look at this DBQ. Or they claiming something secondary. Da, 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 da. And if it wasn't, I'm deferring it and send it back. And I know when I was still there, I don't know if they still call it this, but when we requested CMP exams, and maybe I'm probably showing my age a little bit because it was a Word document and it was a paper file. You had to put it under the rubber band on the folder, and then they would send them out to the hospitals like every day, right? It was called a 2507 medical request. So now I think they request these CMP exams inside of VBMS, but I don't know if they still call them a 2507 medical request or just a medical request. Have you heard anything on that? What is what they call them now?
No, not specifically, what they what's called now, but again, they're just making a request typically just through VBMS,
Yeah.
just being able to kind of send it over and make the request. But that's very interesting when you talk about that because you've seen a lot of evolution, in regards to rating. I know this is a bit, impromptu, but I would like to ask you, because we're on the topic of Nexus letters, DBQs, or what have you. And Doug Collins just in the Department of Veterans Affairs come down with a very uh, hot issue, I would say,
Yeah.
right? That a lot of veterans were up in arms about. With that understanding, there's a lot of information in regards to functional impairment and functional impact in regards to DBQs and Nexus letters. When you were rating, did you take the medication and what the veteran is, I guess, the veteran symptoms at that point in time when they were medicated? Did you take that in consideration when you were rating?
Yes. And before I give you my answer, I did a couple of videos on that. And actually, when I did the first video where they were talking about updating 38 CFR 4.10 functional impairment, and they talked about Ingram versus Collins.
Hmm.
I was so confused about that. I decided not to even do a video. And my team pushed me to do it. We uploaded that video, I think, on that Wednesday. I think it was that Thursday, maybe. They came out 5 minutes before I uploaded that video, and I started seeing articles about they rescinded it.
You're
So
sitting.
then I had to do another video the next day, right? So I did, and this is why I was confused because they were talking about everybody on YouTube was talking about medication, but they also talked about treatment. It said
Mhm.
medication and treatment. So to answer your question, did I take medication in consideration? Yes. Here's why. Because on my second follow-up video, I was telling people this is where I was confused about it because they were like, if you're taking medication and it gets better, gauge and see, possibly give a lower percentage. Then I started showing diagnostic codes, the 20 and 40% criteria for diabetes. The 40% is what? Daily insulin injection with restricted diet and regulation of activities. The 20% is hypoglycemic agent. Normally you see veterans take metformin. So I'm
Mhm.
thinking I'm taking medication into consideration to give them the higher percentage. You look at eczema and dermatitis. When you look at, I think it's a 60%, they talk about corticosteroids, some
Mhm.
type of phototherapy. You're not going to see that in the 10%. You're going to see that in the higher percentages. Same way with COPD or any other respiratory. When you look at the pulmonary function test, they talk about bronchodilator therapy and all that stuff. That's the grant the higher percentage. So I was kind of confused. I'm like, wait a minute. Are you
Mhm.
going to change all this diagnostic code criteria as it pertains to this? Or are you going to leave it the same? So I was really conflicted on doing the video and what I was going to discuss. But yes, to answer your question, I looked at it, especially treatment, to grant the higher benefit, not the lower, grant the higher percentage, not the lower percentage.
And listen, veterans, that's an expert talking, right? This is an expert talking. I want to make sure that we kind of sift through all the nonsense that's on all these platforms, and that's just the facts, right? Taking into consideration of medication and treatment, that is already considered when we are rating,
Yeah.
right? So when the veterans, everyone was up in arms about this and about that. You really got to kind of peel back the nonsense and really see what were they trying to do, right? And that's just some conditions, right? We talk about migraines, right?
Yep.
We talk about cancers. We talk about diseases that are only treatable by medication. So and even musculoskeletal conditions.
Right.
So
Right.
it's just a ton of conditions that needs constant and chronic treatment to include medication to be able to get those ratings. The only way you're going to see those is going to be an evaluation amongst your DBQ and also obviously a positive nexus in relation to that.
Right. The one condition I could think of right off the top of my head, and I'm pretty sure there's others out there, but comes top of my head, where if medication is taken, we will look at it as improvement. But the reason why we will look at it as improvement is key. That's hypertension. When you're taking that
Mhm.
medication, it's going to lower your systolic and dystolic numbers, which is going to cause you to get a lower percentage. And in that
Mhm.
video, my first one, I was like, hey, I talked about a claim I rated. A veteran went in for an increase in hypertension, gets to the CMP exam, passes out. They take him to the emergency room, and this is all in the claims file when it gets back. Are you on any medication? Yes. When last time you took it? 4 days ago. So he risked his life not to take that medication to get a extra 10% and almost died. So that's one condition that I can see where when you take medications, actually it'll give you a lower percentage, which I wouldn't want a 60% for hypertension.
No,
You're a
no,
ticking time bomb, right? And
yeah,
so
no.
in the second video, the Secretary Collins said they're rescinding it because one of the reasons he did not want veterans to stop taking their medication.
And I will be the first to tell you, you're not the only one to see that.
Hmm.
I mean, we see it so very often. I mean, veterans having asthma attacks,
Oh yeah.
and CEP exams. Veterans, literally got to the point where they are being, on gurneys at a CEP exam due to, the lack of medication for heart condition.
Oh yeah.
We have to be very real about what that was put out, because we see all this information. Again,
Mhm.
as previous raters, we've seen all this information because it is reported back to you.
Yep.
But now, with that said, I think the implementation of this information was just kind of, for the lack of better terms, it was not really looked into, and I think that's
Right.
why it was so quickly rescinded.
Yep. But here's the thing: that second video at the end, I looked at the previous 38 CFR 4.10. And then I showed what sentences, what verbiage they were going to add to it. So the second video on that Friday, last Friday, I showed the updated 38 CFR. Now they was quick to add that verbiage by
Yeah.
Tuesday. When I did that video, I recorded it that day, and the team and I, we were rushing to get it edited and posted last Friday. Guess what? That verbiage is still in there. And I talked
Wow.
about it. I'm like, you got to keep an eye on this. I'm gonna be looking at it. Checked it this morning. Oh, I'm sorry, last night. It's still in there. So they were quick to put it in there, but they not quick to take it out.
Yeah.
So it's an actual regulation. So if a raider uses that scenario to grant the lower benefits, how can they get an error from the QRT team because it's actually in a regulation?
You can't. You can't. And that's where it's such a gray area because
Mhm.
as you just mentioned, again, a little while ago, there is misinformation that is trained on,
Yeah.
right? Listen, veterans, these regulations, just because you guys seen this regulation because it was on a public forum, it came very, very quickly and came very, very fast with you. I'm going to tell you right now, there are hundreds of regulations that get updated and changed on a regular basis that you never see,
Mhm.
that you never see. And it actually affects your rating decisions and also your benefits. So
Yep.
you want to be abreast to this information. When we're out here giving you this information, I'm telling you right now, it's coming from the CFR, okay, the 38 CFR,
Mhm.
and directly from federal publications and warrants manuals. This is information that's very, very pertinent to you and your benefits. But when I tell you right now, they were, again, as you mentioned, it is still there. Just because you rescind it the comment or the commentary on it, it is still in the 38 CFR.
Yep.
So what
Yep.
does that exactly mean?
Hmm.
You know,
So
I
go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, please.
Yeah. I was just going to say, so yeah, again, veterans, understanding that, and we were talking earlier where I was teaching people how to subscribe to, you call it worms. I just say the M21-1, but same thing. And to
Yeah.
get updates to understand when they're making these changes and understand it. I think that is um, so important. I know a lot of my videos may be a little bit boring because I'm showing you slides of this stuff in the M21-1, the dash 4, the dash 5. But these are the things that I feel they need to know to be successful, to move that claim from point A to point B to point C, step one, step two, or whatever they're looking for. So as we get ready to close out here, any final thoughts for our viewers?
Well, I think this was such a fruitful conversation, veterans. When we talk about Nexus letters, when we talk about DBQs, understand a Nexus letter is very pertinent to your file. Obviously, currently we focus a lot on the DBQs. But I will tell you, there was a time when the VA actually took away DBQs for public access.
Mhm.
So this is why you need to know what goes in a successful Nexus letter,
Yep.
because that successful Nexus letter could make or break your access to benefits for you and your family.
Most definitely. Most definitely. All right. Well, hey, it's always a pleasure. And veterans, we're going to be doing this once a month. So leave us a comment and let us know if it's a particular topic you would like for us to discuss. Now, not step by step on your claim, but a topic. Also, do not forget to go and subscribe to Prepare to Compete. I had to say that slow because it's kind of a tongue twister. Prepare to Compete podcast. And what other social platforms can they find Prepare to Compete podcast on?
Yes, you definitely can find us on every major platform, social media platform at vetsforvetsconsulting.com. We definitely are here to support you. Prepare to Compete is being able to provide all information. Also, you can find us at vetsforvetsinfo.com as well to be able to go ahead and obviously get more information behind the public forum. So we're definitely here to support.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Thank you again. And everyone, make sure you go ahead and hit that like, subscribe, and notification button. And don't forget to share this video with your fellow veterans. Thank you.